Welcome to the Nate KG Podcast, a show dedicated to exploring the nuances of jump rope, where I talk with jumpers of all skill levels, backgrounds, and fitness goals. On this episode, I talk with Max Bennasar at Burning Ropes Lab PTY on Instagram. Max is a jump rope coach in Panama, and we have become friends over the last few years via the Instagram community. We've talked a lot through DM, but this is the first time we had a chance to really sit down and go through Max's history with jump rope. He's doing a phenomenal job coaching Primal jump rope at his gym, and we dig into so many topics, including what Primal jump rope workouts are, how Max started jumping when he was 6 years old, and how his skills evolved throughout life, why Max entered a rowing competition, a few of the ways jump rope can strengthen the mind, and a whole lot more. All the show notes for this episode can be found over at natekg.com. And now, please enjoy this interview of Max Bennasar. Max, ¿cómo estás hoy?
Hi, Nate. Very well, very well. Thanks for having me here.
Just so everyone knows, I definitely talked to Max beforehand and would ask Max, okay, what kind of phrase in Spanish can I use at the beginning of the podcast? My Spanish is much more minimal than I would suggest. But Max, I'm really happy to have you here. We've talked a lot before through Instagram, through DM. I've watched what you've got going on. I am really excited to get into all about your jump rope journey.
Yeah. Thanks. For me, it's a very great pleasure and for this opportunity. And no, I will gladly answer all your questions.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
For sure, this is gonna be really fun. I think a good place to start will be where you are in the world, and then where you grew up.
Well, first of all, right now I live here in Panama. I was born in Argentina in 1986. I'm 34 years old. But I lived here in Panama since I was 5 years old. My mom remarried and we moved here. But I also live in several other countries. I also lived in California for a while.
Oh, did you really?
When I was 11 years old for a moment because of my some of works that my father had. But since 5 years old, this is my residence here in Panama.
That's really cool. And so, having lived in several different places, do you feel like you like Panama the best now?
That's a very tricky question. Because Panama, I mean, all the countries are great. All the countries have different things.
Yeah.
Argentina is not only my birthplace, but it's a great place as a country for all the things that they have. And I really love the weather there. And that's one of the few things that I don't like about Panama. Panama is very hot. It's very hot. It's very tropical tropical wise, but it also have all the things that you need and you like. So I'm very happy for having grew up here in Panama.
That's really cool. What type of, as you were growing up and kind of traveling around, what types of fitness or what types of sports have you done?
Well, to tell you the truth, since I was very little, I done kind of different things, mostly for recreation with friends in school and stuff like that, maybe high school. And even in the university, I play a lot like football and things like that, all the things that all the boys and teenagers do. But I have always fought with my weight because I was always overweight. And up until I was like 21 years, when I just graduated from the university, I decided to start like worrying about my lifestyle and my healthy lifestyle. So I started to trying different things, but this time focuses on that. And I don't know, it was like that, but it was like
that makes
all
sense.
All kind of sports since I was a little boy.
Which university did you go to?
Well, in Panama, it's a university called Santa Maria, Universidad Católica Santa María la Antigua. It's a Catholic university. It's a private Catholic university.
Cool. So you have you kind of had a history of playing standard recreational sports, just kind of hanging out with your buddies, doing stuff.
Yeah, up until 21.
Gotcha.
21.
And it wasn't really, the fitness part was not really so much of a focus. It was more just running around and having fun.
Exactly.
When you left university,
Yeah.
why was there a certain moment where you thought to yourself, I need to change something, or why was it that you became more focused on your weight?
Well, in my last year of the university, some friend approached to me and he invited me to a competition here in Panama that we have. It's called Cayuco Race. It's a race in Cayuco. Do you know how Cayuco, what Cayuco is?
I actually don't know.
Okay, Cayuco is like a boat, like a mini boat, made out of wood, and usually you have 4 people, and it's a rowing competition.
Okay.
But here in Panama, you have that, and the competition is through the Panama Canal. It's very
Mm.
cool about that because it's
Dude, that
I
sounds
mean,
really awesome.
yeah, and it's like the only competition that they allow to people to do. So
Mm.
he approached to me and he invited me to that, and I said, I think I can do that because the the boat it wouldn't hold me because
Oh,
of my weight.
okay.
So he told me like, no, I need you because in the boat we need someone
Yeah, you need that person on there.
bigger, and yeah, and we need in the Cayuco you have like different posts. I don't know how to say that.
Oh yeah,
Like
different roles on the boat, like people who are doing
roles.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. And one of the roles it's called power.
Hmm.
So that's the guy that it has to always do the rowing and always be in rowing, and they wanted me to do that. So
Gotcha.
that was the first time that I got into really healthy lifestyle and started to train myself.
That's okay. That makes sense. So you had this thing that your friend wanted, and that you were like, oh wait a minute, like you actually became aware of like, wait, I can't I can't go hang
Yeah,
out on this boat. I'm not comfortable with that.
yeah.
Were you did you do rowing before that, or was your buddy just like, hey, do this with me,
No,
and you were like,
no,
okay,
no, no. It was the first time, and it
wow,
was intense training. Yeah,
yeah, I bet.
it was like a full year of training before because it was like 4 races,
Mm.
so we had to train a lot.
And so, is it through that training that's when you started to really dial in your focus on fitness and
On
losing weight?
fitness. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So, what was the first step then? Because I'm imagining at that point, though you've done sports,
yeah,
um, training for something like you said, like for a year and having these races, like that's a very different level, a different mental approach. I'm wondering
yeah.
what it was like when you first started. Were you intimidated? Were you excited? Were you scared? Were you pumped? Like, how did that go when you first started?
Well, I think it was all of that. It was more an intimidation thing because as I said it, I couldn't imagine myself doing that. But the thing is that here in Panama, that race, it's not they're not thinking about fitness industries or goals or stuff like that. They all just want to like having fun. When I first started to go to the meetings, I started to know all the people, and they really the vibe that they have. It was just like it was fun to do. So that was one of the things that made me do it and made me really start and going to that now.
So I'm assuming like I feel like this is common both with what you're experiencing and in rowing, but also I feel like this is common within fitness in general, where people their perception of it is that the people around them will likely judge them for their lack of skill, when in reality
Yeah,
the majority of people there just want to have fun, just want to share
fun.
this awesome thing. Is
Yeah,
that kind of what you were discovering?
yeah, exactly like that. That's it.
Have you found that to be the case in other sports as well, or other activities?
I think it depends on what kind of sport or activities, because if you're talking about like a competition thing, it's it's more like a fitness goal type of training that you have to do for that. So, I mean, in the race, in the Cayuga race, you have people that wanted to win and that won, but the majority of people, they want to have fun. So
Right.
if it's like a soccer thing, or like if you're gonna play like soccer or baseball or whatever, if it's a competition, you always want to have like, you're always gonna have this group of people that they want to play and win.
Right.
But I don't know, in that Cayuga race or in that year, I don't know why, but it was more like meeting people and having fun.
That's cool. I like that a lot because that really helps. It really helps stay like when it's fun, when it's a good time, and you have a group of people around you. It keeps you in it for longer.
Yeah.
What was your training? What were you doing to train when you first started? And you said that there was a full year of training.
Yeah.
In addition to the specifics of what that was, did your training stay the same over that whole year?
Well, I will try to answer that and remember things. The first thing that we did, it was because I was jumping rope as a common thing for me, but
Sorry, did that happen? Did that happen before the rowing, or was
the
it
jump
because
rope.
of? Yeah, was the jump rope before the rowing, or
No,
did you
no,
do it because of rowing?
no. I think I picked my first jump rope when I was 6 in the PE class,
Oh,
but
okay.
and I always jump rope. But the point was that when we first started training, one of the guys of the crew, he told me like, you know what, Max, I know that you like jump rope. How can we incorporate that on the training? And having not known anything about jump rope training
Yeah,
or
like how to
jump rope
use it in workout
coaching,
and stuff.
yeah, I immediately say to them, you know what? Let's go to a boxing gym. And I know like the boxers are doing jump rope, and they are doing all kind of different training for them. So why don't we start with that? And that was one of the things that we do. We started going to a boxing gym. They learn how to jump rope there by seeing me and all and other people, and that was with I think it was like for 5 months
Okay.
that we train on that gym, and then we switch it up to running training, and we switch it up to calisthenics, and then we switch it up to the last month a little bit of gymnastics. But I was very bad at that. I couldn't do it.
Gymnastics is tough. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's hard
It
to.
was it was the very hard, the most hardest thing in the training.
Yeah, that's such an interesting like periodization of the skills you were doing. I like that
Yeah,
that there was a variety, so you didn't get like burnt out. So this is cool.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you started jumping when you were 6 in school. So was jump rope a common thing every year of school?
That's a very nice question. I have been jumping rope since I was 6, but it was like, the first time that I picked up the jump rope, the PE teacher, he gave me the jump rope and he told me like, okay, jump. That's it.
Awesome.
That was
The coaching.
the coaching. And
Awesome.
for a 6-year-old in a class of 45, when you don't have like you have like 3 or 4 jump ropes,
Right.
um, without a coaching, I started jump like with my friends, but it was like, okay, let's do this for like a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go running around like a
Yeah,
6 years
that
old
makes
boys.
sense. Yeah.
So,
That's funny.
but one of the things that we started to do, and it's very interesting. But when I grew up and learned about all the jump rope classes and the jump rope world class jumpers and federations, all this stuff, when we were young, we attach the jump ropes, the short ones, to make a long jump rope and
You,
start doing like double dutches.
yeah.
But we didn't know that that was the name. We just jump with that.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's how I and all of my friends that do jump rope started doing jump rope here in Panama. It's a common thing, but it's like, okay, do jump roping and do it whatever you want, wherever you can, or however you can.
I That's so funny. So you just made it work. Can you go over that again? I would like to capture that same thing,
Yeah.
but in Spanish, because I think that that's a really I really like the way you've discussed the history of that.
Ok. Bueno, cuando tenía 6 años, que fue la primera vez que salté soga, recuerdo que fue porque un profesor de educación física me dio la soga y me dijo, salta, solamente salta. Eso fue lo único que me dijo. Y como no sabíamos nada del salto de soga y no sabíamos nada de la federación, ni de coaching, ni de cómo enseñar a hacer soga, lo que nosotros hacíamos era saltar como pudiéramos y uníamos las sogas para poder saltar en grupo con una soga más larga. Lo que nosotros ahora sabemos que se conoce como double dutch, pero en esa época no sabíamos cómo se llamaba.
Yeah, that is not that I fully was tracking what you were saying,
Okay.
but I know that you said it
But
beforehand. So I
yeah,
heard
and
the
there are
Dutch
some,
part, and I was like, oh, I know where he's
yeah,
at.
yeah. There are certain words that can like show you.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny that you were kind of already naturally doing a lot of these things. When did you? So that was very early on. Was jump
Yeah.
rope kind of a part of your life when you were, like 10 to 16 years old at all?
Yeah, all the
Hmm.
time. I mean,
All the time.
since
Okay.
yeah, all the time in school, all the years in school. But you know why? You know what? I'm. It's a very interesting thing about the jump rope because jump rope for me it was like a thing that I've been doing, but it's not in a secret way. But it's kind of like those games that you do in your school, but you don't go and tell your parents like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
doing jump rope in my school," because it
Hmm.
was not like a sport or
It's so
like a
normal just to
discipline.
every day.
Yeah, it was like it's part of the recreation, the recess time.
Hmm.
So I've been doing it, but I never put the attention to it
Yeah.
like right now. So if you talk like my parents or any other parents here in Panama and you say like, "Oh, I've been doing jump rope since I was 6 years old,"
Hmm.
they're gonna say to you like, "What? I never saw you
Yeah.
jumping rope." And that's because of that. That's because I don't I don't we don't put that much attention of that because it was such a common thing to do in
Hmm.
recess. But when I was 15, I remember doing jump rope tournament in the school,
Hmm.
but the tournament was you have to do like certain reps of singles.
Hmm.
I don't know, 50 singles, something like that.
Yeah.
After after playing soccer.
Oh, wow.
So what happens? It was that when people finished playing soccer, they were all so tired that went and to pick up the jump rope and do the
Oh
singles.
my gosh.
So what I was doing, it was like because I was in the bench because I was very bad in soccer. I was doing the jump roping without playing any soccer. That was my thing. That was the time that I do a lot of jump rope.
That's okay. That's really interesting that it was this very foundational thing because a lot of jumpers. I mean, well, not even just jumpers, but like in general, most people associate jump rope with like that playground activity or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's very. It's kind of dismissed as a thing that you did on the playground as a little kid, and then you
yeah,
stopped, or you were someone who found competitive jump rope early on. You did it forever, but it's
yeah,
cool to kind of hear that you've used it, you've experienced it consistently and reliably over time, but it hasn't been in a context other than just strictly recreational, which is very
yeah.
cool. So let's let's kind of go back to the rowing thing because I'm still curious. Well, number one, I want to know how the races went, and then I have a few follow up questions from that. Yeah.
Well, I think we finished like in 45, 46
Out of how many people?
out of 100,
Hey, that's
something like
not
that.
bad. That's good.
It's a very bad thing.
What do you mean? Nah,
because
you. I
because
don't know. I
because
mean,
because all the other guys that went that I mean, it's not like 45, 46, 47, 48. You have like 15 people ending in 45 places, stuff like that.
oh,
but
okay, yeah,
but no, I mean, it was the first time. It was the first
yeah.
time I participated on that 3 years in a row.
Mm,
And the third time that I participate, I I think we finished like in 14 or 15,
mm-hmm,
but it was very different from the first
mm-hmm.
time.
When the
We Yeah,
when you finished the first one, were
yeah.
you proud? Like, were you excited to have accomplished it and finished it?
I didn't even think about the number. I didn't think
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the place. I was thrilled and very excited about the race itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like going through the Panama Canal, we stopped in the middle of the race,
Mm-hmm.
looking the walls of the canal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very 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 powerful thing, and it was very fun for me. It was not about the race or the winning. It was about the experience.
Why was the act of doing the race so interesting? What was it about the size of the walls of the canal that were so inspiring to you?
Yeah, well, as I was saying, the first thing that crossed into your mind when you do this, or when you're going into these kind of races, is because they sell it that way. They sell it that this is a race through the Panama Canal, and even for somebody that doesn't born here in Panama,
Mm-hmm.
and for the also for the locals, going through that piece of a history, engineer history, is a very cool thing. So when you saw the walls up close to you, it's a very powerful feeling, and I think that was the main experience that you have when you see this. I mean, that those walls and those that canal, it was made with hands, and it's a very a very interesting and colossal piece of architecture and engineering.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that. I like your emphasis on the
Yeah.
process of what's happening. You said you studied engineering?
Yeah, architecture and engineering.
Okay, this is all right. Let's go down this path a little bit,
Okay.
because I find that, and feel free to chime in on this, but I'm going to ask you about something. But I think that a lot of jumpers, people who are engineering minded, tend to really gravitate towards jump rope.
Yeah.
When you decided to pursue engineering and architecture, um, what was it about that made you interested in that discipline?
Well, I think most of the teenagers can relate to what I'm about to say, because when you are young and your parents are like, "What are you gonna study? What are you gonna do with your life?
Yes.
What are you gonna do when you grow up? How or not how, but what kind of job do you want to do, or do you want to get?" I was my first interest in it was herpetology.
Mm.
I Do you know what is that?
Yeah, as a
Herpet-
study reptiles.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I like a lot the snakes and a lot of reptiles. One of my all time favorite animals are dragons. So
Okay,
I
so
was
real quick, not to cut you off, but when I was a
yeah
kid, I was obsessed with dinosaurs, and I too
yeah
absolutely love lizards and snakes and reptiles. This is really
yeah
cool.
yeah. It was one of my dreams. My mom sit with me and she told me, like, if you study that, besides here in Panama, it's not a common thing, and I
Mm,
think you cannot study here that.
it's not a thing on the university.
It's
But
not gonna work.
she told me that if you study that, you're gonna starve to death.
Oh
And I was
man.
like, what? Yeah, she was like, you're never gonna get a job, you're never gonna get and you're never you're not gonna get married, all the
Oh
things that
no.
parents told you. Yeah. So I'm very good with drawing with the
Mhm.
pencil.
Mhm.
And I think that was my starting point going towards architecture.
Mhm.
In my first year, I think it was I had like 5 or 6 days on the university, and a group of people that they were in engineer, they came up to our classes, and they told us if we could, if we wanted to study um, both careers at the same time.
Mhm.
And I came up to my father and I said it, and he said, "I'm gonna pay for it, but you have to be number one or
Mm.
number two at
Mhm.
least."
Mhm.
And
Set a
I
very
was
high bar.
studying, yeah, and I was studying architecture in the morning, in the day, and engineering at night
Mhm.
for 5 years. And
Wow.
yeah, it was very tough.
That is, yeah, that's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot going on. So as you were doing it, did you complete it because it was necessary, or was there something about it that ultimately you did find interesting?
No. I love architecture and I
Mm.
love engineering. Both. I finished it because of both, because it was necessary, but I love all the things that I've
Mm.
learned and
Mhm.
all the things that are and represent architecture and
Mhm.
engineering. The most of it, it was the responsibility that you have to people,
Mm.
and by doing this, all these buildings and all this stuff that people are gonna live on and are gonna be on. But I love my career very much.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I like that. It's funny because I was going to follow up and ask you if
Yeah.
it was
And
this.
no, I've been doing it for like 13 years.
Wow, that's a long
13.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool because I was going to ask if it was the idea of systems and numbers and organization that was so interesting, but it's cool to hear that what drew you towards it is this idea of responsibility and that what you
Yeah. No.
do matters.
And I think now that you said that, the math and the numbers and all of that, it's the least, it's the most boring
Mm.
thing.
Mhm.
But the way that we design for people and how do you feel on an environment, it's the most I think is the most satisfying thing about this thing, about our
Mhm.
careers. Yeah.
This makes like, this is starting to make a lot of sense in the full picture of Max, why you
Yeah.
are doing what you're doing because now you've got Primal jump rope and you've
Yeah.
been coaching jump rope a lot.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's a very, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like it's a very similar motivation of this responsibility of I have this knowledge, I have this skill, and I can help you achieve a result that will make
Yeah.
you feel
And
better.
for me, yeah, and for me it's very serious, very serious.
Mm.
I was thinking about it, but I know for many people jump rope, it's fun, and it's a different type of cardio, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a different type of activity that you could do for losing weight or
Mm-hmm.
for maintaining your body in an active way.
Mm-hmm.
But for me it's very serious, not only as a coach or as a business or as a gym owner, but for the thing that the benefits that you could do for people, the benefit that people can get because of jump rope, mostly for kids,
Mm.
for when they are very young. I saw the other day an Instagram page of the Japan Jump Rope Academy. I
Yes,
think it
I
was.
know. I
I think
literally was just seeing that the other day as well. Yeah.
no. I think it was you. I saw like a post, like a story of you,
Oh
some
yeah.
kid. Yeah, it
Yes.
was it was some kid, like I don't
So
know,
good.
6 years,
So
7 years,
good.
he was doing things that, do you know how incredible, beneficial for his mind is
Yes.
the things that they're doing, the things that he's doing by this age. I mean, I don't know, I don't care if he then drops jump rope. The things that he's getting right now because
Mm-hmm.
of it are huge. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things that I wanted to do here in Panama. I want to do here in Panama.
No, it's a really big deal because you're this has been something that's like low key a little bit frustrating for me because
Yeah,
I know that when you're activating the mind along with motor skills and with visualization, because when you do jump rope, you are, even if you're not aware of it, you are thinking about and visualizing the skill that is coming next or that you want to complete, right?
exactly. Yeah,
And
like chess.
correct, exactly.
Yeah,
It's strategic. It is strategic. It's a low level of strategic, but it is strategic.
yeah,
And you have to coordinate all of your limbs. It's fully engaging with your body, especially as you get into the more complicated skills. And it's
yeah.
also a physical activity, which is releasing a whole bunch of really awesome, hormones, neurotransmitters, all these things that are going on. I have not been able to find, maybe this is just a lack of effort potentially, but I haven't been able to find sophisticated research or knowledge um, that would speak to an activity that engages the body and mind this way. Because I know sports play a really big role, but I haven't been able to find something that suggests that somebody
Like jump rope.
like jump rope or even like a sport. I haven't found anything that speaks to a sport
Yeah.
promoting more intelligence or pattern recognition or the ability to think, whatever you want to say with that. Like I haven't found an association between brain power and body power effectively.
Well, I'm relieved that I'm not the one that is saying it, because
Yeah, yeah.
because because I don't want people like what? No, there's a lot of other sports that do that, but no, I think one is the magic of jump rope. The magical thing about jump rope is that not only that, but you could be. I saw the other day a meme of Usain Bolt. It was that said that he ran like for 2 minutes. I mean, you know that he at the 100-meter race he's done it like in 9 seconds. So the meme was that he prepared for that like 20 years of his life preparing for that races. And the thing that jump rope have is that you could be jump roping like for 1 full year and achieve something that other people could achieve in more time than you. But but it's like,
It's
how do
sharpening
I
your mind. Even though it seems like it takes a long time or you're investing a year or two into something,
yeah,
it applies to other disciplines in very subtle ways where what would have taken you X amount of time is
yeah,
reduced by 50% or something because you've strengthened your brain and your body and you've done the
that
work beforehand.
That's a very good way to put it. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we talked about a lot in our gym. That how jump rope or how our discipline can be like a complement for. I think that's the word. Like
Hmm.
another. You can complement your discipline, regardless of what it is,
Hmm.
with the jump rope.
Yeah.
That's a very
Yeah,
good
you
thing.
can use it like literally any way you can imagine using it, it works basically.
Yeah.
And that's like it's a whole, I mean that's a
You
big.
know,
But yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
I remember that I once had a client, a jump roper, that he was like 5 months, 6 months in our gym.
Hmm.
And after that, he once told me like that he got better at dancing because of the
Hmm.
jump rope and the
Yep.
classes. And I was with, what? How? What does that? I mean, jump rope doesn't have anything to do with dancing, but
But
it
it
does.
does.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot. So and in myself, I also I recognize that I have more reflexes that
Yep.
I didn't have like I don't know 15-14 years ago, and I've been doing jump rope for a long time. But it depends on how many skills you have, how your repertoire, how do you build it up, how you combine things. It all helps to be better and to do that.
I think a big reason why that happens too is like if we look at a sport like surfing. I don't know
Yeah.
if have you been surfing before?
Not surfing, but
Stand up
how do you
paddleboarding.
call that? No, paddleboard. No, the other one with the boogie board.
Oh, boogie
I
boarding.
think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when people surf, especially when you're a beginner, like when I first tried surfing, you really have to separate what your waist and below and your legs are doing versus what your torso is doing, because when the waves are going, the board is moving, but if you are rigid and you stick with that, then you're going to fall over, which I did many times. And and jump rope is the same principle of like, even when I'm coaching doubles with like Arc Smart Gear, their philosophy is like the way they structure their teaching is separating what the bounding is happening, so what your legs are doing, versus the rotational mechanics, which is like, you know, what your arms are doing and stuff. And viewing it in that respect is like, oh, it's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach in a circle, right? Like there's two different things happening, and the
Yeah.
benefit of that is you're really working on like the proprioception, really understanding how to manipulate your body and tune into really minute details and small pieces of what your body is doing physically. So which makes a lot of sense to me why this guy's getting better at dancing because he's doing jump rope. Yeah.
And that's
go
like
ahead.
the vertical way, because also you have to use your two hemispheres of your brain. If you want to do like a skill with your right hand, then you have to learn with your left hand. It's also in that way. That is also a very powerful thing of jump roping.
Yes.
It's
Both sides.
in that, yeah, in both sides.
So we're talking here about I'm talking about the coaching you've been doing and giving back to people. Let's kind of connect these pieces, because
Okay.
we've discussed doing the race, when we've
Yeah.
discussed going to school. You have this history of jump rope that has meant something to you for a long time. It's been more than just, oh, I one time picked it up in school. You've actually done it consistently.
Yeah.
What is the connecting piece? What happened? What decisions were made that brought you from just entering into fitness, doing these races and going to school and studying architecture and engineering? What happened from then to when you first decided to create a business for jump rope?
Well, let's see. It's a very long history.
Okay.
And there are many timelines on very different years. I think it all begins with the beginning of YouTube. YouTube, I think YouTube it begins in 2005. I think. I saw a guy called Phil Franco. Philip Franco, I still see him
Yep. Yeah.
every day. And he was one day he was talking about jump roping, and he put a video of some guy called Equals 3. And that guy, he puts a video of Mike Fry, but he doesn't talk about Mike Fry.
Right.
He didn't mention his name.
He just showed it or something. Yeah.
He just showed it up. Yeah. And I was blown away by the toad cross. That was the video, and I started looking out.
That's funny. I wonder if Mike even knows he was mentioned in a Filthy Frank video. That's really funny.
No, it was in Equals 3.
Oh, okay. Equals 3.
In
Okay.
Equals 3, yeah. Because that guy was like, I'm gonna grab this one and this one. He grabbed the videos that other people sent to him.
Okay.
He was doing that only for entertainment purposes. But the thing that I was looking for this video, I didn't know how to look for it. I just want to look for it because I was doing jump rope, but I didn't know what was the thing that I was looking. I don't know what was toe cross, name of it.
Right.
And then I think it was 2011 when I
Mhm.
saw that, and it went cold. The trail, I couldn't find that
Mhm.
video anywhere. I didn't know who was Mike Fry or anything of the community, of the jump rope community that you in the States have. And but I saw the video like, I don't know, 20 times, 20
Mhm.
25 times,
Mhm.
until I landed the toad.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was another thing. It was something very new for me. It was something like, there's more of it. Did you have another thing that I could be? I also write to Equal Street. I didn't remember his name. I don't remember his name, but I also write it, and I was like, I need to see more jump rope videos
Mhm.
of this guy. Can you
Mhm.
please find him? And then he put another one of another person that 6 or 5 years later I found. It was Billy Twildy. You know who he
Mhm.
is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know who
And
Billy Willie is. Yeah, we used to talk all the time on
all the
YouTube.
time.
Mhm.
And that's the thing with you guys and the community in States. You are so close and you know each other. We here in other places are like, what, we want that. We want that we could talk with people that begin that it was the beginning of it.
Mhm.
Okay, do you guys was the beginning of it.
Mhm.
But I found another video of Bill Twilly. He was doing another thing. I don't remember called what it was, but it was 11 years ago. I
Mhm.
think it was. Then I in that time I learned the mic and the toad, and that was the only thing that I learned.
Mhm.
And I was like, for 5 or 6 years I was stuck on those two things, the mic and the toad.
Stuck in terms of like those are the only things that you wanted to do because you were excited, or you
No, no,
couldn't do anything
no.
else.
I couldn't do anything else because
Oh, okay.
because I don't have I didn't have the information, and then
Mhm.
I didn't have the knowledge to do it
Mhm.
another thing. But that two things led me to the searching and searching and searching.
Mhm.
And one day I found someone called um, Rochelle Box,
Mhm.
and that person, a beautiful
Legend.
person,
Mhm.
a legend. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
In my emails, I was like, okay, this person is trying to guide me and show me things, but I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
And she introduced me to another person,
Sorry,
Ernesto.
can we
Yeah.
I know we're going through I want to stick on that for just a second because I think it might be very useful for a lot of competitors to hear um, your experience speaking with Rochelle initially, because
Okay.
I know you mentioned it just passively that you didn't know what the context was, but I think myself included, for a long, long, long time, because I came from the competitive world, I did not have the ability or the awareness to speak to others about jump rope
Hmm.
without my own bias of the competitive world, which
Okay.
is not necessarily not a bad thing, but like it just made it more difficult to communicate because
Yeah.
I couldn't I couldn't speak in a way. There was a lot of underlying assumptions in my own communication that did not translate over to someone who did not know jump rope, right? And so I'm curious, like when you first spoke to Rochelle Boggs, um, how did that go? You said it was a little bit like you just didn't really have the context.
No, it was an email. I
Mm.
found her. I was doing research on online, doing about the. I wanted to know if there was like a the word is not federation, because
Mm.
it was not that the word that I used, but
Hmm.
like a
A
club, or
group,
like a
yeah,
like a group, yeah,
team,
of
something.
people, yeah, teams. So, and I came across with the federation,
Hmm.
and she was the one that guide me through the Jombro coach certification,
Hmm.
and introduced me to this person that, Ernesto Hernandez.
Hmm.
He's like the vice president of Pan American. here in Latin America about jump rope.
Which
And
certification was that?
The WJR.
Gotcha. Cool.
Because in that time it was it was before the merge of the FISAC and the WERF, and he taught me about all that. I think it was 2017.
I was going to say it seems relatively recent.
Yeah, very recent, and that was because I was doing a lot. I got married in 2013.
Thank goodness you didn't do the herpetology degree and you were able to get married.
Exactly. I was doing a lot of other things besides jump roping, but jump rope was. I remember in my honeymoon I was jump roping in Mexico because I needed to do cardio, and it was stuff like that. But at one point I was like, okay, I need to take this to another level. I need to know about it a little more. So because my wife, it was like she always, she called the mic the el remolino.
What is that?
That's whirl mill or windmill. I think windmill in and at one point she was like, okay, do you know anything else? I don't want to see that remolino any.
She's like, I get it. You can do that skill. Great. And you're like, but do you want to see it again though?
You want to see with the other hand? You want to see with the left hand? And she was the one that, because you need like a woman in your life to push you. She was the one that she told me that, you know anything else you want to learn another thing? And
she's support, but she's also wants you to grow.
Yeah, and she was like, okay, go research, go do this. You can do that besides your architecture and engineer job, and that was the starting point for start looking for what I found.
So that's when you started to think, okay, what if I did some form of coaching? Did you think right away you were going to create a gym? Did you think about doing one-on-one coaching? What was the process there?
I was doing coaching. I was doing jump rope coaching like for 2 years. In that point, I was doing Primal movements. In 2015 I found some guy called, and I'm saying some guy, but since he's not some guy, he's a legend. His name is Ido Portal.
Yep.
And
yeah, I've heard about
him. You know him?
Oh yeah.
He's a mastermind. And I was doing some of his stuff. Then I moved to another thing called MoveNet because of him, and I was coaching that thing, and the different things of movement and how the body moves and stuff like that. But I was also coaching jump rope because we needed to have like a cardio exercise in our classes, and people took notice because of my background in architecture. I am very, like, I don't know how to say that in English, but didactico. Very
systematic and no, not systematic. Oh, are you talking about like you articulate and you speak and you communicate a lot?
Yeah, like it was a natural thing for me.
Yeah,
how to explain things.
Yeah, being a teacher, being a coach.
Yeah, like trying to really understand the thing. So I was coaching jump rope in that context for like 2 years before.
And you were meeting people just through the Primal movement and kind of just
and
doing things that way.
I was doing an exercise called P19, Insanity, all that stuff. Here in Panama, it was very popular in that time, and I was trying to mix it up with jump rope, and because nobody was doing jump rope here in Panama, I think nobody was doing in that way. And through a boxing gym, I remember telling you about the boxing gym that I was when I was training for my race, for my Cayuco race. But I meet up, and I knew a lot of people in that world of boxing, and I was trying to teach them how to jump rope in a different way besides the way that a boxer do. So that was like the first and the starting point of doing that.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. And then, so you were already working in coaching, so you're already kind of getting used to things that are going on in terms of how to communicate jump rope to people, how to help them achieve a result. At what point did you think, okay, I want to make a gym now?
It was a phone call with Ernesto. Ernesto told me about he's a founder and coach. He have a team. It's called Road Warriors, and he coached that with somebody that very well. It was Chris Holmes, and that was my starting point. I told him that I wanted to do a gym, and he told me that I was going to starve to death if I do that. And he told me that
owning a gym is brutal.
yeah, and a jump rope gym.
Yeah,
it was like, what, jump rope gym? That's free, man.
Yeah,
you can find jump rope in every corner of the internet right now. And I was like, yeah, but people like to do certain things in a group.
We like to be together.
Yeah, they like to be together. They like to see on person and other people doing stuff.
It's the same thing as you could go online and figure out what exercises to do for any other form of fitness, but we still like to go to other gyms.
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing.
It's exactly like that. Yeah. So he told me that, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna show it, and I'm gonna show you to you. And I did. I did the gym.
Nice.
And I grabbed a bunch of people that were working with me on different buildings and different stuff, and I built my own gym with my bare hands and my sweat and my blood, and we started doing the thing in the inauguration. I think it's called inauguration.
And is this Burning Ropes Lab?
That's Burning Ropes Lab.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between, because we've spoken briefly offline about Burning Ropes and Primal Jump Rope.
Yeah.
What is the difference between these two?
Burning Ropes Lab is the name of the gym. Primal Jump Rope is the name of the discipline that we use.
Gotcha. Okay.
The combination between the non-conventional functional exercises, animal movement, and jump rope.
Interesting. That's cool. Wow. So you really are blending two very unique styles of exercise.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really that familiar with the actual programming for primal movement or the animal style functional movement, but what would be, selfishly for myself and for anyone else listening, what would be an example of like a workout or a class structure that you would run one day?
Okay, well, the thing is that you have to do certain skills and moves to connect the exercises. It's not like you're gonna do this exercise and your jump rope is gonna be like 2 feet away of you, and you're gonna grab the jump rope in between sessions or in between exercise. You have to have your jump rope all the time with you. You have to do certain moves to connect those exercises. For example, if you're gonna do a frog, and you land your frog, then you're going to put your jump rope in front of you, and you're gonna go into the ground and do another thing, maybe an animal move, and then you're gonna grab the jump rope again, but without tripping. So you have to pull it. How do you
balance as a coach? How do you balance doing things that are, I mean, this sounds very very skill based, because you have to know what's up with the jump rope so that you're not whipping yourself. So how do you manage keeping people motivated if they, I mean, I'm assuming that they end up tripping or missing a lot because everyone does. How do you
Exactly.
manage as a coach keeping them motivated and keeping them going?
Well, first of all, the Primal jump rope is a regression point system. So you have a regression for all the moves and
Gotcha.
all the jump rope moves also. I have people that are with me like for 2.5 years already, and they eventually you learn how to do that without tripping in the connections of the exercises. I mean, you can trip if you're doing like high knees, or like I don't know, like a single bounce, and you trip. It doesn't matter because you are in that motion. You if you're doing like the X motion, or if you're doing like I don't know, what else? Something very
Like a
very
straddle or a
like a
bell
straddle, yeah.
side to side or
So
skier or
if,
scissors or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you trip on that, it doesn't matter because you're in that motion. But you have to learn how to connect it with the other exercise, and that's the point that where you don't need to trip or you can trip. But eventually you're gonna learn it. It's like when you're um, learning the toad or learning the mic or learning all these skills. You're gonna trip, you're gonna fail, you're gonna miss, but eventually you're gonna build that um, how do you say the mind
Muscle memory.
muscle the muscle memory, yeah.
Hmm.
So do it, and then you're gonna do it like almost blindfolded.
This is really cool. Like I've known, even when we've chatted, or chatted offline, and we've spoken a lot about jump rope things and different stuff. I mean, obviously, I've always known that you're really legit and really you care about your work, but it's really cool to actually sit down and um, hear about what you do exactly. Because to be honest with you, with the
It's
posts
very
that,
difficult to see it.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, like with the posts that I had seen, or even with what we chatted about, like I didn't know that was. I was still thinking it was standard body weight and jump rope, but with your own character as a coach influencing that. But it's
Yeah.
really, this is really something. This is really a unique application of how to
Yeah.
blend two different sport styles or different activity styles.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the main reasons that we are very careful on our social media posts and stuff like that, because they're not all the people have the same mindset, or the same respect for the things that you're doing. So we're trying to build something step by step, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult because of the culture here
Mm.
in Panama. But it's a different conversation, I think.
Yeah, it seems like you really care about. Not seems like it's true, but like it's awesome to hear you articulate how much you do care about not the way you look as a coach, but what your athletes and what your clients are actually getting as a
Yeah,
result.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's very important for me because I see myself on them, and on every level. I don't know if it's that a bad thing, but I wait. I think I told you that I in some time of my life, my weight, it was like 300 pounds.
mm,
And when I started doing these things, i was I was it was a lot harder for me. It was very hard for me. So I wanted to be a coach, or a different type of coach that that I saw here in Panama, because there are a lot of coaches here in Panama, and in most of the world there are a lot of coaches. But I wanted to be different, and I wanted to bring something different for the people that were going to do the things that I want to learn to teach them.
can you go over that idea again of why this inspiration based on your weight loss journey to create Primal Jump Rope, but can you repeat it again in Spanish, because I think that is something that is very much worth repeating again.
But what part exactly?
Let's revisit how you were saying, you were overweight, very overweight, and how that
Okay,
has led you through your struggle to find information and resources that has led you to create Primal Jump Rope.
ok. Bueno, sí, lo que estaba diciendo era que en algún momento de mi vida llegué a pesar 300 libras, porque siempre he peleado mucho con mi peso, y tratando de encontrar diferentes tipos de entrenamiento y entrenadores que me ayudaran a bajar de peso, me costó mucho lograrlo. Entonces decidí pues crear un sistema de entrenamiento que involucrara lo que ya yo hacía desde muy pequeño, pero que pudiera enseñarle a las personas de una manera mucho más comprensible, mucho más didáctica y que la gente realmente le gustara lo que iban a hacer, ¿no?
So where are you at today with Primal Jump Rope? Because obviously in the past 6-8 months, however long it's been, maybe 5 years at this point, who knows how long this year's been? what how have things? I'm assuming it's been a very big challenge. Where are you now with Primal Jump Rope and with
You
burning
mean
rope slabs?
Yeah, you mean with the gym?
Yeah, with the gym, and I'm assuming that there's been some sort of a transition in terms of how you've served your clients and how served your athletes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very difficult for us because the primal jump rope, or the jump rope in general, it's it's a very it's very you liked it, you like to see it with your own eyes. It's very difficult for me to try to transmit that on my classes, because in the gym people are they were always like, can you teach me this, can you teach me that, can you please show it to me again, can you, in the middle of class, you know. And that's a very personal connection with the client. So when the pandemic hit, and one of the first things that were closed here in Panama was the gyms,
Right.
and I invested a lot of time and money on the gym. So I called the owner of the place, and I told him I don't want to close. I don't want to close, and I am not gonna close. And he said to me, okay, what do you want to do? And I said, like, okay, you're gonna freeze this thing, you're gonna freeze my payment,
Yeah, your leasing agreement. Yeah.
my leasing agreement, and I'm gonna continue this online. And he told me, you know what, go for it, because I'm seeing a lot of people jump roping in the internet. I'm seeing a lot of people doing the things that you're doing.
That is extraordinarily fortunate to have someone who's that understanding. That's really awesome.
He's on the CrossFit community.
Gotcha.
And I think he felt it also, and I think he was like, you know what, this guy is bringing something new to the community here in Panama, because Panama is very, very little if you compare it with all other places. And everybody knows, there are a lot of coaches, but everybody knows who those coaches are. And he trusted me. He really liked the gym. So he told me that, and I was like, okay, how do I do this on daily basis, on a with a computer and a camera and online, and transition to an online system. And that's where we are right now. I'm video recording me every day, the full class, in a follow along format for all the people that stood with me. I think I lost like 15 or 20 clients when the pandemic hits.
That's going to happen no matter where you are.
Yeah. But we try to manage, and we try to create this community, and we have like right now we have like 35, 40 people on the gym, and it's been very difficult, but the people are very understanding with us, and they like what we're doing.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, you're obviously doing really, really great work. This has been really cool to see this whole I mean, you really have lived jump rope your whole life. Like it's been there the whole time,
Yeah.
and it's really, a lot of people that have had jump rope in their whole life, typically they are competitive jump ropers who
Yeah.
began with competition and then stayed within that type of discipline of jump rope, that style of jump rope, and grew in it. But you have really covered like this full gamut of like all these different ways that you can apply jump rope, and you have a really solid context, and you've even created this blend of a style that is, at least the way I see it, is very unique.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very different, and I think that is really awesome. I think this is probably it's probably a good time to kind of move towards wrapping up, and I want to ask you the last question of the podcast, as I'm sure you know. I'm going to ask you now: is what is jump rope to you?
That's a very also tricky question because, as I said, I mean, jump rope for me, jump rope, it's a very it's a very complicated thing because for many people, jump rope it's a way of fun of doing cardio. As I said, it's a way of train the body. It's a way to express himself or themselves by doing tricks or stuff. For me, no. Jump rope. First of all, jump rope. And that's a very personal statement. But jump rope saved my life because of the weight loss thing. But jump rope has it's been for a long time in our society. I always tell that I think jump rope it has like 5,000 years. It was I once read about the history of jump rope, and jump rope was like they have like a picture of Egyptian
Yeah.
guys
Mm-hmm.
doing jump rope with vines,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So do you, for us to have sport or a discipline that it's that long, that it's being beneficial for all the people around the world for that many years, it jump rope deserves a lot of respect for a lot of people. And I don't think that there are there are plenty of people that they are given that respect. And that's jump rope for me. Jump rope it's a very respectful discipline to do. It's a very hard thing to do. It's a very fulfilling thing to do. And if you're going to do it, you need to do it for the right reasons. We have a saying in Burning Ropes Lab. We jump for passion. We jump for fun, but we jump for health. And if you are very passionate about it, if you like it, you have to find your reason for doing it. So it's a very powerful thing for me, John Rowe. And I think I will. I saw once a post that you the story that you shared about I don't know how to say it, but I will say it that way. Is a very old person. Is a woman, a very old woman. I don't know how old she is, but I have in my gym a 70 years old lady, and she told me I like a month ago, I saved her. I saved her life with John Rowe. And as an architect and an engineer, I never had that from a client. It's a very powerful thing, the genre. If you use it very well and you put the respect that it deserves, is a very powerful
That is a really good answer. Wow. Well done, man.
yeah.
This has been really a lot of fun to dig in and hear this different perspective you bring to jump rope, and I appreciate you doing this in English, by the way, in a really big way. I know that that's not the
Don't
easiest, but
worry
I
about it.
really do appreciate you taking the time to do this, and this has uh, really been a lot of fun chopping it up.
No, don't even say it. For me, really, for me, it's been a total pleasure. First, that you allow me to participate on this conversation and your podcast, because
Absolutely.
for me, because of what I told you and all the things that that I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
For me, are like you are like one of my digital mentors, and a
Yeah.
digital mentor. I remember I told you once that I was going to be on California.
Mm-hmm.
We could like getting together,
Yeah.
and it was a bummer for me because I was doing a
Yeah.
certification there. It was like 3 days of certification, and it was very in the jumper community and with the podcast and the direction that you have to create a change. It's a great benefit for the community and for all the people.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to chat and bring everyone together and really get a nice picture of all the things that we can do with the jump rope.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. I definitely want to be respectful of your time, let you get back to your day. But like, Max, thank you again, seriously, for being on and chatting with me.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah.
Hey, before you go, I just wanted to say one last thing. One of my main goals for this podcast is to share the stories, of other jumpers and provide a full picture about everything that's possible with the jump rope. The more people that hear this, the better. And it would really help me out if you sent this podcast to somebody you know, whether in real life or digitally on Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform you use. It would mean the world to me. So that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, lunch, evening, whatever time it is for you right now. See you later.